My family, welcome to yet another one. I remember we posted a video, maybe it's 6 days ago or a week ago, I'm not really sure, where Brother Brandon released some serious prophetic warnings and prophetic words, concerning President Trump and all those. I believe these are just some snippets of the...
That I can tell you.
I saw this in the spirit. He went at them alone. And then I saw in the spirit what was called a great betrayal.
I saw an event, and I saw J.D. Vance come on the scene.
I said, what we are praying about Erica for is that she does not become a Marilyn Monroe in the days ahead. You must pray for what's coming concerning the plague, concerning who's over your area in this time frame. Concerning this, you do not want the governor's race for what they're planning to have people that will want to lock you down like it was with the last one.
Well, that was very powerful. Well, I actually have a video that I managed to compile for you where there are also some prophecies concerning the upcoming midterms and some other serious things that we really ought to pray about.
Do you remember last night I saw President Trump? I saw a blue in the Senate. I saw a pulse in the Senate. And as I was looking into the Senate, I saw blue, and it got really dark blue. And then it started to affect the Supreme Court judges. I saw red that was cowards. There was no pulse. It was kind of like they were just idly standing by. And this was concerning December and January. I saw a blue pulse coming out of the Senate. And I saw President Trump trying to fly, and his wings were clipped.
So this is very serious, my friend. And I just want to know from you, hear from you, some of prophetic people. What does this really mean? That his wings are going to be clipped?
His wings were clipped. He was trying to be an eagle, but he was no longer able to be an eagle because the Senate and the judges clipped his wings.
So that's very serious, and, we really ought to pray. And this is actually in light of the up and coming, midterm elections. We're actually seeing a whole lot of political theater.
Clipped his wings.
Gas is down as the Strait opens for business. Rent is down thanks to Trump's deportations. And the Senate just passed a bill to curb Wall Street from buying up all the single-family homes. Let's go to you first, Emily. So you have all this good stuff, what they call tangibles, but we haven't even brought up the bad stuff that still exists, the Democrat policies. So it's this isn't even in a vacuum. You can look at all these good things happening, but you have to remind yourself of the open borders, DEI, the Green New Deal, and trans, all this stuff that could be there if this hadn't been there.
And also the effects of which we're still dealing with, right? So yes, the border's closed, but there's still hundreds of thousands of people here that shouldn't be, that are wreaking havoc on our cities. And sure, now we finally have DAs in red cities that are prosecuting them, but a lot of Americans are still feeling unsafe. A lot of them are fighting their teachers for indoctrinating their kids. And all of this is going on, and this is what Americans are talking about at the kitchen table. So because frankly, I think the nation has been a little exhausted about what's happening in the Middle East. Obviously, every day we are praying for the health and safety of our armed services, men and women over there. But the reality is it's here on this ground that Americans feel the fight, and they need to feel the positive effects before the midterms.
And I also think what you're seeing is a pivot to America first ahead of the midterms. I think the president looked at where the conversation was going every day and said, okay, hold on, we're going to hit the pause button on this situation. Very successful operation in Venezuela. Iran, obviously a lot trickier, and we can get into some of the issues around the deal. But it's clear that he wants the focus to be back on those wins as he sees them in the United States that you talk about. Lowering rent, gas prices coming down as a result of the change of what we're seeing in the Strait of Hormuz, because although we don't get a lot of oil from there, it affects global oil prices, and we're seeing a drop. I think, what we can all pick up here is that this is the focus for now, and it's going to be the focus all through the summer as the president goes all across. He's in Pennsylvania today, the Mack truck factory. This is what he wants people talking about. He wants people talking about wins. He's looking at the midterms going, actually, no, I think it would be great if we could hold on to the House and hold on to the Senate. And, I would just caution people about sort of writing off the future of the November election, because I actually think it's a long way away. And I think people's feelings can change dramatically in that time. And I think President Trump, as much as he doesn't like, any polls that don't look good, he absorbs them, and he understands, the economy a little soft at the moment in terms of people's perception of it. You know, also the war in Iran, not getting great numbers. But I also think that I wouldn't be surprised to see him go back around after the midterms and go finish the job. And he's clearly pivoting right now to what he thinks should be the priority.
So shortly we'll get back to what he was talking about, concerning President Trump, prophetically. We now move on to Bibi Netanyahu.
In Gaza, also in Lebanon, also against Iran. But I want to tell you two things. As long as I am Prime Minister, Iran will not have nuclear weapons. And another thing, as long as I am Prime Minister, we are maintaining the security zone in southern Lebanon.
Pray for his safety. Some people don't like him, some people do. I'm not here to be political about Israel. I saw that man's life is in danger. And I've told you that how many times at the first of the year. I say he stands out on a balcony and I heard Mossad. I even told Sid Roth that.
And moving on, there's these serious warnings too, concerning Trump and Turkey. And, these midterms, he has been emphasizing on these midterm elections and the like, as you know, if the Democrats actually take over the Senate, it could spell a whole lot of doom, for President Trump's presidency and all that. I guess that's why he's emphasizing on that people really ought to pray. And he's talking about a plague, and he's saying that we really need to pray that there are proper people in place so that, when the plague hits, according to him, they will not be able to put some of these crazy laws where they will lock you down. So that's what he was actually talking about. So let's get into what he was talking about here.
What's your message to your great friend Erdogan and the Turkish people? Because you're going to be there in less than...
Are you from Turkey?
Yeah, I'm Turkish myself.
Good. Well,
and
I like him. He's a friend of mine. And he stayed out of the war. He was a prime candidate to go into the war with Iran, maybe on the Iran side, because he's not a big fan of Israel, as you know. And I asked him to stay out. He stayed out. And who else was great? Was President Xi of China. He could have come in. He gets half of his oil from that area. I could see him wanting to, and I asked him to please stay out, and he did. We did a good job, but he stayed out. Erdogan's a great leader, very strong person, great military, and I asked him to stay out, and he did, and so did President Xi, and frankly, so did Putin, if you really look. But you could say that Vladimir has some other things to focus on. But they all stayed out. I mean, it was pretty amazing. People were surprised.
Tied to that, Mr. President.
And I think that Erdogan he loves Turkey, right? He's doing a great job. He loves Turkey. I love the U.S., but he loves Turkey, and he's doing a great job. He's a respected man, a respected leader, and he's been a friend of mine. Now, I shouldn't say that, because guys like Peter would say, oh, he likes Erdogan. He likes Erdogan. No, Peter won't. Peter doesn't. Some of the others, let's say. But Erdogan is a strong man, but he's been everything I've ever asked him for, he's done.
And tied to that, Mr. President, Mr. Secretary General clearly pointed out that allies want to do defense business with you, and Turkey is definitely one of them. Absolutely. They want the F-110 jet engines, and they want the F-35 fighter jets. Yeah. Are you going to Turkey with a big gift bag?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. Look, he's a member of NATO. Some people don't consider him so, but he really is. He's a strong member of NATO. Yeah, I'm going to probably do something that's going to make him very happy.
And Turkey has
Tell him hello, right? Tell him hello. He's a good man.
And Turkey has a huge defense industrial base. 3,000 companies working all over the alliance, also here in the United States. So strong.
People don't know how big Turkey is in terms of the military. It's a very strong, they have a lot of our equipment, a very strong military, because of him.
What are your expectations, sir, about this meeting in Ankara? What do you think?
Well, except for the fact that it was being held in Turkey by President Erdogan, I don't think I would have gone to it.
You must come for me.
But I might go for
Oh my God. Do not go in respect of that man. He's talking about he's respecting Turkey? Seriously, sir. It's like, I didn't know he was doing this. I'm like, I pray for this dude all the time. It's like, I got to be respectful because I love your position. I pray for you. But I'm saying, please, don't go around this man. This man's evil. Wait until after our midterm.
And now he's talking NATO and, some of the allies and the like. And we also be listening to our brother Brendan to say too. So my family, that's the situation that we actually have. So as you listen to the end, I'll mention the next one is always like, share, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to pray for President Trump.
He's been a friend of mine. He's a great guy, great leader, great Secretary General. Everybody respects him. And I appreciate your nice words, but you really have done a good job. And I think if anybody else were in that position, we wouldn't even be meeting today, to be honest with you, because we were let down. We didn't need help on this at all. We've demolished them in literally the first week. But it would have been nice if they would have said, we'd like to help. We didn't even need it, but it would have been nice if they said that. They didn't say it. But as Secretary General, and he's the boss of the whole operation, he was, I believe if I would have called him, and I didn't bother doing that because I was doing individual countries just to take the temperature and see how they were doing. But I think if I would have called him, he probably would have found a way to help if we needed it. I feel, we're a little bit different. But I was disappointed. I was disappointed with Italy. I was disappointed with the UK. He's now gone. And, he had a lot of problems. But we were disappointed with the UK. We were disappointed with Germany and France. We were disappointed with most of them. Spain is a horror show. Spain is terrible, even from your standpoint. I mean, they don't want to pay anything. They think they're in for a free ride. Spain is not a good group. Not a good group at all. Not a good group at all. Different.
Don't trust any of them. They're awful. I really love our president. I pray for him all the time. I'm telling y'all. And it's like, to me, I get frustrated because I'm like, who's counsel? Where are you getting your counsel from? These foreign allies are crazy. They want war, and it's like I told you, he's going to beat his drums, and the man in Turkey is a bad man. He's with Syria. And in the days ahead, they will come against Israel, and it will be a major event that's about to take place. Ezekiel 38 and 39 is about to happen. Forget Turkey, sir. Focus on us. We need midterms to turn out better. We don't want a bloodbath in our governor's races. We need America to be strong for even our states. Like Governor Stitz in Oklahoma. We need these people to because of the plague that's coming. We don't want idiots running our states whenever a plague happens again like he did COVID, because he locks everybody down and you can't get out of your house.